Okay, we back again. Welcome to BossUp Brotherhood. This is another one of those interviews that we're about to have. Like I said, this is a space where men speak truth, wisdom, and pass it down, and where real life experiences help men grow and be stronger. Today's conversation is special because every brotherhood needs an elder, and that's our elder right there. Men who have walked the life through the war, through the marriage, through the struggle, and still standing tall. Our guest today is Mr. Anthony, aka the elder of the brotherhood. He's a military veteran, a man who's been married over 40 years, and we respect his voice in the brotherhood. And here we, like I said, here we call him the elder. And today he's going to share his wisdom with a lot of men out here that needs to hear it. Mr. Anthony, welcome to the brotherhood, my guy.
How you doing? What's going on, buddy?
We're good. We're good. Tell us a little bit about yourself, man. Tell us not too much because we have a bunch of questions that I am going to ask, but just tell us a little bit about yourself, my guy.
I'm 61 years old. Uh, I'm from Brooklyn, New York, born and raised. I left there and moved to Illinois when I was 12. Uh, and I lived there through high school, and then I went into the service. But and then spent 20 22 years in the service.
I got you. I got you. That's a long time, half my lifespan. So, my first question today: tell us how you grew up and what life as a young man when you were growing up. Tell us a little bit about that.
Uh, it's difficult to explain how life mirrors history, but when I try and put my life in the context of history. Um, I was born February 2nd, 1965, 21 days before Malcolm X was assassinated in New York City. I was born in Brooklyn, New York. Then after that, my mom moved to Joliet, Illinois, from from Brooklyn when I was 1 years old. She had another daughter. We're born the same year. We're like, I don't even know what you call it, ghetto twins.
Ghetto twins.
I was born in February. She was born in '65, December of '65. So we're both born in '65.
Okay,
Um,
so let's jump into the environment. What type of environment shaped you to be the man that you are today?
um, it's a mixture of environments. I, it's hard to explain because my mom left me in Joliet from 1 to 5. Lived with my grandparents, so I had you know, a different dynamic about how I wasn't used to the big city. And at 5 years old, she came back and she got me and she took me back to New York City in Brooklyn. I tell the story. My uncle, who is 7 years older than me, um, he hid me in the garage when we were supposed to be leaving and going back to New York. When they found me, yeah, and they say I jumped out of the attic of the garage and said I'm Batman,
Hey,
and I've been
Batman.
called.
That's where that
I've been
name comes from, Batman, that you
Yeah,
tell us
that's
about.
exact. I took that mantle because I was going to Gotham City. That's the only a 5 year old can process things, and that was my protection. I grew up in New York, in Brooklyn, till I was 11 years old. Then we moved to Staten Island. Yeah, I'm from Stapleton. I lived in Stapleton Projects, right with all of the guys from Wu Tang, Wu Tang Clan. We were all in the same school. Uh, Divine is more my age than the younger guys, but I do know a lot of those guys from just growing up in that neighborhood.
I got you. So my next question is, when you look back now, what moments in your lives helped you shape the man that you became today?
Um, my decision to go into the military. Um, Most people have different reasons why they choose to join the military. I joined because I had a son on the way. It's not by my wife, and I'll tell you that was a hard decision. But we I didn't. It was just somebody I met in. I spent my first year out of high school in college, and that's where I had my first son. He's 42 years old. So
Got you. Yeah, so your son is our age, like pretty much my age, a little bit
yeah,
younger
my
than me, but
daughter. Yeah. Then I have three kids by my wife. My daughter is 40. Down to my youngest is 30. So I have three other by my wife. So
I
a
got you.
total of four
So
kids.
So you just brought up the military a little bit. So we gonna talk about the military. I know the military taught you a lot of different things about life lessons when it comes to discipline and service. What is the biggest cultural shock when you first got out there into the military? Like what was the major thing that really hit you when you went into the military that we weren't doing in society?
The discipline portion of life, structure, always preparing for, the ultimate, and that's war. You instantly start training upon entering the military to serve your country. It's just a different dynamic than civilian world. Something to get adapted to and used to. Um, you know, you got to remember that this was early '84 when I went in the military, so there wasn't that many interracial couples. Well, there were starting to pop up in the military, but in society, it wasn't that many outwardly dating interracial couples, and it, it 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 was difficult once they found out my wife was Italian and Croatian, but I fought through it, and I fought through things that most people wouldn't understand about how people react to interracial dating. But other than that, I had great experience in the military. It, I don't like talking about war or the components of war. It's a difficult speak to me. I bring it up out of frustration when I hear people complain about their lives, and I just look at them like, like in shock because I'm going, wow, you just don't know what people have to give up and do so you have the freedom to be able to express your opinion, and that's why I bring it up. I don't bring it up because I like talking about it.
I got you. So let me ask you a question. You know how discipline and leadership it goes different when you're in the civilian world and when you're in the military. So what type of discipline and leadership did the military teach you that benefits you as you are today?
You in the military, as you rank, you have to go through different leadership courses. Primary leadership course, that's PLDC for junior non-commissioned officers. Then you go to it's called basic BNOC. I don't know the analogies on terminologies anymore, but there are different leadership levels that you do take as non-commissioned officers once you start ranking in the military. So I learned a lot about how to interact with people, how to monitor how you respond to different situations. So that's pretty much where I got most of my discipline from.
I got you. So I definitely know. I've never been in the military. After me going to college and coming out of college, I immediately jumped into the working world. So I know you said you spent a good little while in the military.
Mhm.
What really in the military? How did the military give you a different perspective on life? Like, what moment in the military, while you service, changed the way you saw life? Gave you a different perspective on life?
The aspects of going to war changed your it changed my perspective based on the fact that you're telling your family that you're leaving to go serve your country, and you may not return. That's hard to explain to your family. You know, when you look at it in hindsight, not knowing was the biggest thing to deal with. So you had to learn to be disciplined, learn how to interact with people, and understand the different dynamics of preparation for what we were preparing for. It was all new, so it was a different dynamic.
So, Mr. Anthony, you know you've been around the Brotherhood for about 6 to 7 months now, and I definitely know how you are, and I definitely understand. I have a better understanding since you've been around. What lessons from the military still guides you today? That keeps you structured on life.
Um, Trying to be honest and fair, trying to fight for justice, and making sure people are honored, and able to live a fair life. I think that's the biggest takeaway that I got out of everything, is that you allow the discipline that you learn to lead and guide you through life, and that takeaway from being disciplined had and dedicated to serve your country, and serve your family. It's a hard dynamic to navigate, but you go through there. Of course, nothing's perfect, but you do navigate it, and you learn from your mistakes.
Okay, so you know how I feel about the younger generation of today. Do you think young men today could benefit from that type of structure in the military? Not saying that it has to be the exact structure of the military, but when it comes to the discipline and the leadership that the military has, do you think the young men today can benefit from that?
Yeah, I do, because discipline teaches you structure, teaches you how to believe in yourself, gives you the confidence to get out, and be able to navigate life challenges. So yeah, it's a major thing that I feel like would help anyone to experience. Putting country first is a hard thing for a lot of people to do, and this is not a perfect country. I don't think there are any perfect countries. We can learn from our past history, but you know, just watching the dynamics of life, uh, the discipline portion of going into the military, I think it would help a lot of young men um, grow to be better people.
Got you, got you. So we're gonna conclude that military part. This is one of the topics that we're about to talk about now that I really want to know some information on, a little deeper than what we talk about on the brotherhood. So being married for over 40 years is rare today. It's a rare thing. I'm not saying that it's not possible, because you are living proof. What do you think has helped your marriage last so long that you can give advice to some of these men out here?
Um, find you a good life partner. I wasn't a good life partner for the majority of my marriage. I did a lot of things that I'm not proud of, and I have to give my wife a lot of credit for understanding the importance of keeping a family together and staying with me through trials and tribulations that we had been together since we were 16. So it was just a big dynamic that we had to overcome. There's barriers to being interracial married, then dealing with all different types of things, infidelity, just everything not from losing jobs to not knowing how you're going to pay the bills. But overall, what I learned through growth was that you put family first. That right there is the hardest thing for most people to understand. I wholeheartedly thank my wife for being able to endure the time that she's been with me, and that's why I shower her with everything now, because the effort that she put in maintaining and keeping our family in line. I just looked at it like, go to work, do your job, take care of your family, be present in your children's lives. Those things right there, I think, pulled me away from a lot of things that could have taken me in a negative direction. And believe me, that negative direction is always present in your life. You always have temptations to be something other than who you are.
I can understand that. I can definitely understand that. I don't think I'll ever see marriage for 40 years. I'm not there. So my next question is, what is something that these young men in this world that's grown up in this society today, what is one thing that they misunderstand about marriage?
I think that most people think that there's a rule to how you're supposed to act, the things you're supposed to do, and I think they're more life rules. You treat people the way you want to be treated. Be respectful, and you have to understand that your children don't do what you say as much as they do what you do. So they're mirroring your actions. That was the hardest thing for me to understand. And once I realized that, I was like, man, I got to show my son something different. I had to show them the presence of being a dad. Like I said, I look at it more in the aspect of time put in, showing them the example of being there, even through problems, because I don't want anyone to walk away with the impression that this is easy. Um, because everybody is inherently individuals, and you have to give up your individualismness to become a part of a unit. And it's a challenge that you go through every day.
And my next question, I understand that life gets tough, everything does get tough, but when you're committed to a person, as long as you've been committed to your wife for over 40 years, how could you explain commitment when things got tough?
The fact that you have to realize that you go home. It's easy to stay in the streets. It's easy to give up and go different directions. And going home, meaning that you have to have a foundation somewhere that's rooted to where it's safe for your family and for your children and your wife and other family members to come congregate at. And that's what I ultimately realized was more important than the streets or anything that I thought I could get or benefit from out in the streets.
I got you. I got you. I'm with that, and I can truly understand that. So, what role does respect play between a man and a woman for being married for that long of a time? I'm not saying that it happened, but this is just the truth of what I can think about because
Right.
I know disrespect has came in the marriage
Oh, of
because
course.
it's 40 years. Like how did you handle that, and how did you get past that situation of gaining your wife respect back, or she gaining yours back?
You have to understand the bigger picture. What are you trying to accomplish in life? Are you going to let moments or situations change the aspects of what you do as a family? Family first is my biggest motto. And you got to realize whether or not you got to decide whether or not that person is your friend or someone that you can grow with. God, I sit and go, there's a million times I've been angry and a million times we fought. But overcoming that and putting everything aside and going, hey, I still love you and let's take care of these kids and be able to get to the point where we can do what we're doing now, go see our grandchildren, be able to spend time with them, be retired at a young age, and be able to enjoy the dynamics of seeing your family grow.
I can truly understand that. So, being married for over 4 decades, four
Mhm.
decades, right? Like, what advice that you can give to these young men out here to make them see a different perspective on being married for such a long time?
Find the right person. Be be dedicated to the fact that that's the direction you want to go in. Um, Realize that the family you build is the family you have. Um, we can always talk about the problems that, of course, everybody understand. If there's a problem in marriage, I'm sure I've had it. But the fact that I always came back to the realization that my family was first. And I didn't always understand that. And that's why I give my wife a lot of praise for instilling that in my children and in me because we grew up together. So I had to learn a lot of things that I didn't learn from not having a father in the home. That her father stepped up and played a big role in my life. My grandfather played a big role in my life, and it was just a different dynamic. That seeing examples of fathers made it easy for me to want and crave to be a father. So never giving up on that became easy because I knew what I wanted and I knew what I didn't want. So I had to figure out life.
I can. That's truly understandable. That's truly understandable. I wish I could have heard that in my earlier days of just knowing what to go through. But that's here nor there. We'll talk about my story a little bit later. But I'm
Mhm.
about to touch something that we really don't touch on the other platform, but I'm definitely gonna touch it on this interview. Can you get to the point of, since you've been around for 6 different decades, I know you've seen a lot from the military or just living in the civilian world, uh, being black in America. Like being black in America, that's one topic that I really don't really touch, but I want to touch it now. What has your experience being black in America, living in America, like how has that been?
Ooh, it has been quite an experience. I can't sit and tell you how hard it is to navigate life when it comes to being a black man in this country, being a black man in the military, and then being married to someone of a different race, it turns you into a person that you keep your guard up, you watch the people around you, you're leery of everyone, and you start to try and figure out how to be the best person that you can be. Race has been so prevalent the whole time when it comes to how people interact with you, the way you're like I didn't go to people before they when they found out I was married, like, yeah, I'm married, and then when I would bring my wife around, you could see the shock and awe of how people responded, and a lot of people had problems with it. But then once they started to get to know us as individuals, or as a family, they I think they kind of broke through that barrier. But man, let me tell you, we are ever present in our own lives. You have to be ever present in your life. You have to look at and realize that you are not the center focus of everybody's world. So you have to understand that you know the rules. When you're driving your car, you got to make sure you're paying attention, watch your surroundings, make sure that you don't run a red light, don't roll through a stop sign, don't speed, or if you do speed, you slow down and make sure if someone pulls you over, keep your hands on the wheels. You just have to change how you think, and the things that most people would take for granted, we have to realize that every time an officer pulls us over, our life could end, and that's something that I feel like it's hard for people to even process. I know there's a lot of things going on in the news today with the ICE agents and all of these different things, but I as I sit and I watch these different interactions as a black man, I think about this: if the police were in pursuit of someone and you took your car over and pulled it in front of a police officer, what would happen as a black man to you or as a black person? Um, I wholeheartedly don't condone anyone being unalived, or you know or murdered, or whatever you want to look at it as. But why would you put yourself in that position to not heed to the authority that you can fight anything from a jail cell rather than a morgue? And when we don't look at how, like, how can I sit here and tell you that I'm shocked by something that we see every day in our neighborhoods? We see these type of incidents happen, and because it happens to someone that looks like their daughter or their son, now they're in a rage, and they come to us like we're supposed to be shocked and appalled. We are, because we're that's the type of people we are. But now we're supposed to come out and protest, and if we're not protesting, we're not black people. When I heard some of the things that were being
Yeah.
called for not being able to be in alignment with the garbage that these people are talking about, I just look at them and I laugh. I'm like, what black man would pull his car in front of any police officer trying to block him, and then who who would drive away? That when we seen incidents of our people going in any type of situation, we've been unalive without without cause,
Fact.
without even hesitation, and they come up with a million different excuses on to why this happened. So I look at these situations and say you gotta know the situation you're putting yourself in and react responsibly so that you can make it home. And I think that's important.
No, no, you're exactly right about that, man. It don't make sense to me because as a black male, whenever I get pulled over, I got a routine that I do and I follow and I stick to it. And guess what? I drive off every single time. So
Ah, no problem.
this is another big question that I want to hear from you because like you said, you went into the military in '84. I was real young. What challenges do you think black men face that the world does not talk about today? That we keep on the hush hush and we're not even talking about it ourselves.
The fact that we're judged differently. Um, the fact that we have to understand that we don't even like ourselves. The fact that we're always going to be black. So it doesn't matter how you speak, how educated you become. I watched a video this morning of a young white tea man in a wheelchair, drunk on the streets, and this guy, this brother asked him, "Hey, are you all right? You need some help?" And he's like, "No, get away from me, nigga." And I'm like, and he's like, "Man, okay, like, look, I was just trying to see if you need some help." Then, like a couple of minutes later, the guy's down the street and he fell over out of his wheelchair. And the same guy that he was calling the N word was like, "Hey, you need some help?" "Yeah, yeah, I need some help, but you're gonna have to." And the guy told him, "Hey, you're gonna have to apologize to me first for what you said to me." I didn't mean that. That this attitude that people have, that even when they're at their worst, they think that they're better than us because of the privilege that they're afforded. And that's why this country is so divided. It's because the things that divide us help one group of people, and that's the 1% of the population that own everything. They have to have us divided. They have to have us at odds, and they have to have us hating each other. And then when there's only one group of people that no matter what they do can never be better than them. So I think that's what caused a lot of the divide.
Okay,
You,
hey, and I can truly understand that because I've lived in a whole bunch of places from Oklahoma to Miami, and now I live in Georgia, and I've seen a lot of my life to see the vision that comes about. So throughout all of that, there's some tactics that I've used in my life to stay mentally strong because I know there's times that I've gotten weak when it comes to being a black man in America. So like, how do you stay strong mentally throughout all of those pressures as a black male in America today?
my motto was always get up and go to work. And, and my reasoning behind that is that it takes you out of the way for a period of time, and you have to prepare to be taken out of the streets and out of away from your friends for a period of time. Meaning, when your buddies are saying they get ready to go over here and do this, and you go, "Nah, I got to get ready to go home and go to work the next morning." The discipline behind realizing that you have to choose your path, despite anything that's wrong. Um, you have to give up victimhood. You can't sit and call yourself a victim your whole life. You have to realize that the way things are, sitting and complaining about them, what has that ever done for anybody? You have to become diligent at figuring out the best way to navigate a system that they never told you what to do. You went to school, you learned everything but what it took to be an adult. meaning you didn't learn about balancing a checkbook. You didn't learn about any trades that would be viable for you to earn a living. You didn't understand what credit was. You didn't understand everything that would turn around and backfire on you later in life. You didn't learn or they didn't teach you because it was a more important to to brainwash you into thinking that their history is our history. Like this misalignment with values and worth. It's rooted in their education system. What is a young black man to do when the only person that he's ever seen in a textbook is Malcolm X and he had a dream? It leaves you waking up and going, what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to live this life? No one gave me the rules to the game. And you're pretty much feeling like you're stuck learning everything on your own.
I agree with that, Mr. Anthony, because boy, when me growing up, that's all I seen in the textbook was in school rather was the main two, Malcolm X and Dr. Martin Luther King. So my next question is like, what advice would you give a young black man trying to find his way into today's world?
Know who you are, know your worth, figure out what you want to do to earn a living, and focus on the primary thing that we're put here to do, and that's to reproduce life. This construct of being an individual has overtaken everything in this society, and you have to align yourself with someone that thinks like you think. It doesn't make sense because you're with this pretty girl, but she's telling you she don't want to have kids, and she wants you to do everything and pamper her, and then you say, man, I love you, I want to marry you, and then you're wondering why after 5 years she's gone, or she doesn't want to be with you because you're not providing her this fabulous life that you never had any knowledge on how to achieve. And I think that's what I would tell a young man is, hey man, figure out what you want to do in life. Figure out how you want to better yourself. Realize that money ain't everything, but what have you bought in life without money? Like, I hear that a lot. Well, money ain't everything. Okay, yeah, you're right. It's not everything. But what can you do in life without money?
Exactly. I
You
agree with you
can't
on.
do you can't do anything. So you got to navigate life and figure out how to get position yourself to be able to earn enough to take care of yourself first, and then if you have a family, your family second. Like, you got to take care of yourself first. No.
Hey, so look, this whole interview has been going great, and I listen, Mr. Anthony. You already know how I feel about what we're trying to do now in the Brotherhood. I appreciate you giving me your time, giving the platform your time, and just being here for this interview. But now we about to get into the meat and potatoes right now. What does Boss Up Brotherhood mean to you, my guy? That's where we're at right now. I need to know that right now. What does it mean to you, man?
well, well, it gives me the opportunity to interact with different generations of men, to show them that everything that they want and need is obtainable if you have a group, a collective group of like-minded individuals that want the same support and needs to be better men. I always say it, to be a better man, you have to surround yourself by with better men. And that's why this is important to me, because I get to talk to an 18-year-old. I get to talk to a 30-year-old. And I get to listen to what they're going through, and then I get to say, "Hey, this is what I did at that time." Or it's if you open your ears and learn to listen and not judge a group of men that may be going through things, and may have advice, if you make yourself accessible by arming yourself, unfolding your arms, and receive everything that they're giving you, and listen, you can actually interact with them a lot better, because they take what you say to heart, because they can see you're being genuine with them. And I think that's important. That's the importance of this brotherhood, is that I feel like we're not just there for a man to come cry to us and tell us their problems, but we're there to uplift and support and be a positive reinforcement of what men can do. Um, I know we talked about being black in America, and being a black man in America and raising a family, but when you're in a brotherhood like we are, you have to expand that to include everyone, because the only way we can solve this equation is getting everyone to align with the fact that people inherently just want to be good. They want to take care of their families. They want to raise their children. They may get knocked off track by drugs or alcohol, but then they want someone to reach out to and be able to help them navigate that whole dynamic of life. Um, I want my brothers to come in also. I want more of us involved, because the more of us that become involved, I feel like we can make a difference if these young men come in and see a bunch of men that are not perfect, but are trying to make life better for other men. Um, I had on the other day, my granddaughter called me. It's one of her friends, but they all call me Papa. So she goes, "Joe's coming by. He needs your help." Of course, one of her friends, Papa, he comes by with his little girlfriend. He's telling me he has a new baby, and he's asking for help. And I'm like, okay, he doesn't have a place to live. His 3-month old baby is with his father, and him and his girl are sleeping out of the car. So the first thing I do is go, okay, so what do you need help with? Well, I need gas to be able to Uber so I can make enough money to be able to get a hotel room at night. And I said, that's a good idea. But how's the car running? Well, and the young lady goes, well, the brakes are squealing. I think I need a new, brake pads. And I'm like, okay, let's take a look. And I went out and looked, and I saw that one of the rotors were bad. So I'm like, look, I'm gonna get you rotors and brakes, and I have one of my buddies come over and put it on. And I'm like, I didn't expect to spend $500 for a brake job, but once my buddy got there and he saw that he had to replace both rotors, lucky the calipers could be compressed, and I didn't have to purchase them. But I got him to come on and talk to the brothers and say, hey, look, I need you to reach out. I need you to be active participant in seeing how successful older black men interact with each other, so that you can navigate this life that you have now, because it has to be centered around your new child. And the fact, and I told him, I said, hey, this young lady is with you. She could be at home with her child, with her parents. She's with you sleeping in a car because she loves you and she supports you. Now you have to do the things that it takes to get back on track and even start doing the right thing. And you do that by going to work. And he's like, that makes sense. And hopefully he starts to realize that he's 20 years old. I asked him about his credit. He said he went and grabbed his phone and showed me his credit score. And I said, well, you don't really have credit. I'm gonna put you on on one of my cards as an authorized user. And I got his information and I added him to my credit card. And I said, in a couple of months, you'll have a credit score. Just don't mess it up. And I'm gonna monitor that for you because I can see if you're doing the things you need to do. I won't give him the credit card itself, but the fact that my credit will be on his score will
Yeah, I
help
get
him.
you.
Yeah, it will help him establish credit. And I'm like, that wasn't done for me, so I'll do that for you. And just being able to help him. Bama, I think, talked to him, got his number, so Bama's been reaching out to him, and just trying to show these young men that, hey, once you take on the responsibilities of having children, it's over. Now you gotta take care of your child. So hopefully that'll work out.
Mr. Anthony, you know, you bring me a lot of support to this brotherhood, and you keep me going a lot of the times as well. Do you see what I'm doing here, or what we're doing as this Boss Up Brotherhood? Does this give you any type of hope that the generation up under us will have something different that we didn't have when we were growing up?
Of course, that's why I'm here. I'm like, to come in and sit and listen to a bunch of men talk every day and try and figure out ways to help people deal with their lives. The importance of that to me is exactly that, to make sure that the next generation of men can learn how to be fathers, learn how to be better men, learn how to go to work, to realize that a successful man isn't just a basketball player or a rapper. Like
Exactly.
you can get knowledge and you can get educated and you can get into a trade that pays well. There's so many opportunities out here that being a victim to life will prevent most of these young men from even having the opportunity to even try to be better. If you tell a child that he's perfect and that everybody loves him his whole life, that when he turns 18 and you tell him he's got to get out of your house because you can't afford him no more, and you grown, now you got to go take care of yourself. The day before he was 17, when he turned 18, you're kicking him out of the house going, hey, you got to figure it out, without any preparation. And I see that as the biggest problem for generations, that this broken generation of men, that my age group is the broken generation of men, where we weren't at home with our children. Well, like, I was married. I'm one of the few that decided that I was gonna stay married, stay in my children's lives, and be active participant in my family. But I've seen so many of my buddies mass incarcerated, on the drugs, real bad. Um, just go through things that most people shouldn't go through. And then I think that was done to focus on the fact that they knew breaking up our families would would slow the reproduction rate of our children from from reproducing. And we didn't understand that if you put a bunch of men in prison for 30, 40 years and then you send little boys to the prison, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to turn those little boys into little girls. so that they have what someone to 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 be in a relationship with. And it's crazy that dynamic that they placed on us primarily, because when I tell people this, they look at me like, so what are you saying? And I tell them, I said, listen, imagine this: 95% of the world does not live in the United States. The United States is 5% of the world's population. That African American or black men in the United States of America represent 5.5% of the population of the United States. But we represent almost 20% of the world's prison population.
That's crazy. That's those numbers are, they just don't make sense to me. But I truly understand that too as well. So I got my next question for you, Mr.
Go
Anthony.
ahead, go ahead.
Besides this brotherhood, besides Boss Up Brotherhood, before you became a part of this brotherhood, what what could you tell me brotherhood looked like before you became a part of this one?
Mm. Sports, we played sports, and you built that alignment with your brothers that you did battle with in the military. I still have my buddies that I deal with and talk to every day. I go to the VA weekly. I'll go in and talk to my brothers, and we just have a bond. Building a bond amongst men is important. So that's what I've learned. So bringing that over to the brotherhood, it's like a natural flow. It's easy transition over, because it was something that I knew was important the whole time.
Got you. Got you. So I'm at my final question for you, Mr. Anthony. This is the
Yes, sir.
final one. And I need you, and I'm gonna let you speak a little freely on this one, man. I'm gonna just sit back and listen because I could be this man that you're talking to. If a man watching this video right now as we speak, and he's struggling with feeling lost or trying to become a better man, what wisdom could you give him to make him see it from a different perspective right now?
What I would say to each and every man is that understanding what it takes to be a man is important. Um, the responsibilities first is to yourself. That if once you figure out and realize that that's important, you have to start figuring out what you want to do with your life. You have to get in alignment with how you want or what you want to do, and figure out the steps that it takes to be able to move in that direction. And I would tell each and every one of you, be present. Be present in your children's lives. Be present in your family's lives. The same attitude that we have here while we're dealing with each other, take that into to your everyday life. Deal with people the same way. Let people be people. Let them express how they feel. Hold them accountable for their actions and move forward. That if we don't get back on track with reproducing life, that by 2055, our numbers will be down to from 13 to about 2 to 3% of the population of this country, because we're not reproducing life at the rate to sustain the numbers that we have. The mass incarceration, just, and I don't touch this as much. the want and need, or the I don't know what they're doing to cause this to happen. I think it's always been a part um of the world, sexuality, men with men and women with women. That if you took 200 men and 200 women and put them on an island, after 100 years you came back, what would you have? You would have a flourishing community. If you took 200 men and 200 transvestite men or transgender men and put them on an island, 100 years from now, you would have 200 skeletons. You get what I'm saying? The reproduction of life will not happen. So this argument and this debate about people being able to say what they are is, if you think about yourself right now, shave your beard, shave your mustache, put on a wig, put on a dress, and walk into a store.
I ain't doing it. I ain't
No,
doing it. But I get
you
where you're
understand?
going. I
Yeah,
get
no,
where you're going.
yeah, you're not gonna be looked at. You're gonna be. They're gonna. You're coming in here to rob us, and you got a whole outfit on that's put on to deceive and throw someone off. Like, I don't have any problems with people being who they are, but be who you are. Like,
Stand on that.
stand on who you are, but also realize that you can't change what God made. And if you don't want to reproduce, that's on you. Don't reproduce. But realize that by infringing on other people's ability to sustain life, it should never be a part of the equation. But I guarantee you, if you look up Margaret Singer and find out how the person that brought up Planned Parenthood and her reasonings behind this, and the reasoning behind Johnson being behind the civil rights movement, it would shock you if you go down that rabbit hole on life. Like, it was about taking us from being a property where they needed the more 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 reproduction of slaves that they had, meant their wealth went up, and the reduction of us now is about the need, not they don't need our labor anymore. So now they don't need you, and now they want to get rid of you. Now they want to mass incarcerate you so that they have a new form of income. It's crazy, because when you start thinking about privatized prisons and going, okay, can you look and see what if a judge is putting every BLK man that comes in front of him in jail, and then you look through his financials and find out the same jails that he's sending these people to are a part of his portfolio. How is that right? Like, there's so many different dynamics to these things that you have to take into consideration. And I just want each and every one of you to realize, by following the rules, living your life the best way you can, you will make mistakes and you will have to pay for the mistakes you made, but you have to stay on that path to be better men. And that's pretty much where I'm going to land at.
Oh man, Mr. Anthony, I appreciate that. That was pretty much my last conversation, but I am gonna say this. This is why conversations like this matter, because wisdom is something that you can't Google. You can't Google that. It's something that comes with years of learning and enduring. Mr. Anthony, like I told you, the elder of BossUp Brotherhood, we appreciate you sharing your life and your lessons and the wisdom with us today. This is what BossUp Brotherhood is about: men sharpening men, building the next generation. Until next time, stay strong, stay disciplined, And
Listen,
always remember, we finished what we start at Boss Up Brotherhood, and I appreciate it. And we're done. Thank you so much for being here, Mr. Anthony.
all right, brother.
Sometimes the strongest move is choosing right. The elder speaking, everybody listen close. 40 years of marriage, that's a love most don't know. Wall scars, life bars, wisdom in his tone. Teaching young kings how to build their throne. The elder speaking, hear the weight in his breath. Seen life, seen love, seen victory and death. Now we pass the torch so the next man grow. Boss up brotherhood, not a young man know. He said marriage ain't roses every single day. Sometimes love gotta fight just to find its way. 40 years deep, storms came and went, but loyalty and patience built the covenant. Say respect ain't loud, it's quiet and strongest. Standing by your woman when the nights get longest. Knowing every season ain't sunshine bright, but you still hold a line through the darkest night. He said, young man, listen, the world ain't fair. Black man walking with a target in the air, but never let the pressure steal the man you be. Your character louder than the world gon' see. The elder speaking, everybody listen close. 40 years of marriage, that's a love most don't know. War scars, life bars, wisdom in his tone. Teaching young kings how to build their throne. The elder speaking, hear the weight in his breath. Seen life, seen love, seen victory and death. Now he passed the torch so the next man grow. Boss up brotherhood, now the young men know. He said brotherhood ain't words that you say. Standing with your brother when a storm come his way. It's lifting up a man when he losing his fight, and reminding him he still got purpose in life. Say young blood, strength ain't always loud. Sometimes it's standing tall in front of a crowd, admitting your pain but still choosing to lead. Playing new rules so the next man succeed. Then he looked at the finisher, eye to eye, said build this thing strong, never let it die. Every man that listens gotta rise above and carry this mission built on truth and love. The elder speaking, everybody listen close. 40 years of marriage, that's a love most don't know. War scars, life bars, wisdom in his tone. Teaching young kings how to build their throne. The elder speaking, hear the weight in his breath. Seen life, seen love, seen victory and death. Now we pass the torch so the next man grow. Boss up brotherhood, now the young men know. Yeah. Respect to the elders. Respect to the men still fighting. The finisher. Boss up brotherhood. The torch passed down. Now the young kings rise.